Hello, my name is Quentin Schneider, and buying a new or used car is something you will do in your lifetime. Now, I will tell you a quick few tips on how to buy a new or used car. I could go into all the makes and models and what would be the best for you, but that would take way too much time, and I don't have that much time. Now, I'm just going to tell you a few quick tips that will help you buy a new or used car. Now, the first tip that I would say is you should always test drive it, because every car is different, and some cars have these fancy new automated driving. You can drive for yourself, park for yourself, and all that in the newer cars. Now, with older cars, that's a lot different. Older cars really don't have all that fancy new stuff, and a lot of times you just got to feel for the right of the car and feel like what you like. Now, some cars have a certain pull to them, and that can be disadvantaging. Some pull to the right, some pull to the left. Now, you can get that fixed, but sometimes it's always more and it can cost a lot more money. Another tip is to always look at the miles on it. Now, newer cars usually have a lot lower amount of miles, which is good, but that means they're a lot more expensive. Now, used cars can have a lot higher miles on them, but a lot of times they're cheaper. And if they're kept in well conditioned and have regularly maintained, like oil changes, tire changes, looking at your fluids, if the previous owner did all of those things, then that's good, and the car will be good and will last you a long time. But you have to know if the previous owner did these. Did the previous owner change the oil every 3,000 miles? You never know sometimes, and sometimes you take a gamble on it, whether or not on a used car where there's this shot already. That's why you should always look at the previously owned history of the car and if it was well maintained and if the previous owner maintained it. Another tip is to look at miles per gallon. Now, me personally, I drive 20 miles to school every day and 20 miles back. Now, that adds up. If I drive an old truck that gets 9 miles to the gallon, I'm filling that thing up like almost every 3 days. That can cost a lot of money. Now, I drive a small car that gets 30 miles to the gallon, which saves me a lot of money. Now, if I was to drive that old beat up truck, it would cost me a lot of money. And a lot of the newer cars, they take about right around 40 miles per gallon now, which is really good, but in the older cars, you gotta look out for it. If you're driving very far, then you gotta make sure that your miles per gallon is up high, and that can save you a lot of money. Now, unless you're towing something so you need a truck, that's a whole different story. Another thing to look at is just a well-maintained car. Does the car have rust on a used car? Does it have tires? Tires can be very expensive when buying a whole new set of tires. It can be very expensive. Now, with these quick tips, you can figure out how to buy a car, a new or used car, but you should really do a lot more research on it. And that's why these quick tips can help you buy a new or used car.
Can you make this